So in continuation of lecture 4 and in continuation of fourth iteration of the transportation simplex method, particularly modified distribution part of it, in last lecture we have completed 4 iterations and going ahead of it. This was the quantity adjustment loop, right? And here we were supposed to allocate how much quantity which is allocated in minus marked cells. So here there is 10 and here there is 30, right? So whichever is minimum amongst the minus marked cell is to be allocated here, so that at this places when that quantity gets subtracted, nothing should turn negative, right? So you will be allocating 10 here in this cell, you will be allocating 10, and 10 you will be subtracting from here. So 0, 10 plus 10, 20. All right. Then 30 minus 10, 20 again. And rest of the allocations you have to retain as those were. Like this was 60, this is 10, this is 60, then this is 10, and I think the count has reached to 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once again, you will be finding row numbers and column numbers for this matrix 0. Wherever there is allocation, you will be finding the row numbers for that. This is 3, 3 minus 0, and this is 9 minus 0, 9. Then with this two row numbers, you will be finding the column numbers for whichever column it is possible. 12 minus 9, 3, 19 minus 9, 10, and 13 minus 9, 4. And from this, you will be finding remaining row numbers. Minus 10 here, 0 minus 10, minus 10, and here 3 minus 4, minus 1. Okay. Just let me check. Yes. And then for all the empty cells, you will be finding implied cost as you had been doing in previous iterations. All right. So these are the empty cells for where I am creating the space for writing implied cost. So implied cost is the sum of row number and column number corresponding to that cell. So 0 minus 10. So here minus 10, and 0 minus 10 is a positive quantity. Then here 0 minus 1, 3 minus 1 is positive. You may write the value or you may not write the value there. Then here 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 minus 4, 4 minus 6 is minus 2. Then here comes 3 plus minus 1, 2, 2 minus 2, 0. Then because here the quantity was negative, okay, I have written it. At other places I am writing simply plus sign, okay. If you wish, you want to write the actual cost change, you can. Here it is minus 7, so positive again, 0 minus 7. Then 13 here, the cost comes out to be 12 minus 13 minus 1. Cost change is minus 1. Then here it is 10 minus 1, 9. So here again the difference is coming minus, so I am writing its value. Here 4 plus 3 is 7, difference is positive, 0, minus 6 is positive again. So this is the maximum positive, maximum negative cost change. So sales saving potential of this sale is maximum. Per unit transported via this route will save 2 rupees. So with reference to this sale, I will be forming the quantity adjustment loop. So here I do that. So from here I'll be coming here, then here, then here, then here. Okay, let's do that. All right. So here you will be writing plus sign, minus sign, plus sign, and minus sign. All right. Now here, how much quantity is to be allocated, that is to be found out. That will be minimum amongst the minus marked cells. So, what you are finding here, it is 60 and it is 60 here too. Okay. So, you have to allocate that 60 here, and I do that. So 60 I will be allocating here. Then 60 minus 60 dash 0, then 60 plus 10 70, and then 60 minus 60 again 0, and rest of the quantities you have to write as those were. So here it was 10, retain it, here it is 10, retain it, 20 and 20. Now, after being sure that you have written all the quantities, you just count the number of allocations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there are six allocations. Now, why? Because when you allocated 60 here, 60 which was here and here both became 0. So, thereby we left with only how many allocations? 6. So you have to complete the number of allocations to 7. You have to fill up that gap. So you will have to do epsilon allocation here to make the total number of allocations equal to 7. All right. So epsilon is to be allocated at the place where it won't form closed loop with another allocations done. Okay. So you find the place here. If you do, so if from here you will be going here and then nowhere else, because if you change the direction, here there is nothing. And then if you go to this, and after going to this, then you will be going to this place, then nowhere. Okay, you can allocate epsilon here, or if you find any other comfortable place to allocate epsilon, you allocate epsilon there. I will time being do it here. Okay, you don't search much for the place for allocating epsilon. Okay, it should be simply satisfying one condition, that it doesn't form closed loop with another allocation. Okay, now that we are having 7 allocations, we are ready to for finding row numbers and column numbers. So here first I take 0, then here it comes 3. By now you are used to with the approach by which I am getting the row numbers and column numbers. Here I am doing this much directly. Okay, from this 4 minus 3 I get minus 1. Then with this I get 10 here, 19 minus 19, and 13 minus 9, 4. I get all column numbers I have got. From this I will be getting it minus 10, and from this the last one, 3 minus 4 minus 1. Okay, now let us find the implied cost for all the empty cells. All right, and hope that this time all the empty cells will have a positive cost change. Positive cost change means the cost will increase if you do the allocation in that empty set. So here it comes like 0 minus 1 minus 1, and it will be becoming 4 positive. Then minus 10 again positive. Then here minus 1 it is minus 2, so positive here, 2 minus 2 4. Here it is coming out to be 8 positive again, and here it is coming out to be what, minus 11. So 0 minus 11 gets you positive quantity. Then 13. So here it's 1 positive again. Then What's this? 9, 8 minus 1. So this is 9 here, and here is coming out to be minus 1. Okay. Here also it was 12 minus 13 was minus 1. Okay. Minus 1, right? All right. And then here, what is that? 7. Here it is 7. So what is happening? 8 minus 7 positive. Then lastly here it is minus 6. So 0 minus 6 is positive quantity again. Okay. So there are still two places where it is negative. This is minus 1 and this is minus 1. Okay. You were saying it as plus 1. It was by mistake plus 1. But it is like 12 minus 13 is minus 1. So these are the two potential cells where you can do the allocation. Okay, these routes you can use for transportation, and if you use this route for transportation, you will be saving 1 rupee per unit transported. So there still will be one or two more iterations we will be going through. This was fifth iteration and this is sixth iteration. Now you take any one of this cell, say preferably this one. Why I prefer this cell? I could have taken this route for doing my allocation, but what is happening here? The cost here, what is happening? Just look here. The cost per unit of transportation is 12, and here it is 8. Okay, doesn't matter if you select this cell for doing the allocation. Okay, but when you have got choice, because you have got two places where the saving potential is 1. Okay, with reference to this, therefore, you form the quantity adjustment loop, and here it is. It's very visible. Okay, so I'll be drawing it in blue. Okay, or maybe whatever highlights that quantity adjustment loop to you, you use that color. Okay. So quantity, how much quantity? Now this one plus minus plus minus. Okay, now what happens? You will have to allocate the minimum quantity amongst the minus marked allocation in this loop. Here it's 20, here is 10. So what you have to do is you can allocate 10 here. Okay, you have to allocate 10 here. So in the next iteration we will be adjusting this quantity, and again hope that this will be the last iteration. All the cost changes will come positive. Okay, so first of all what we will be doing, we will be making the um, distributions as directed to us by this loop. Okay, so here you go. The in at 8 cost you are transporting 10 units. You decided to transport 10 units. 10 minus 10 therefore will be 0. 10 plus 10, 20 here, and 20 minus 10 will be 10 here, and rest of the quantities you write as those were, like here epsilon, and here 60, then 70, and here it is 20. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 allocations are there. Once again, you find row numbers and column numbers. Nothing new we are doing after your first or second iteration. Okay, we are repeating the things, and we are looking for getting all cost changes, that is difference between actual cost of transportation and implied cost of transportation positive. So here 0, and from with reference to allocated cell, here I get 3, here I get 9. Then from this 3 I'll be getting here 1, 4 minus 3, and from this 9 I get two numbers. 19 minus 9 I get 10, and 13 minus 9 I get 4. With these two numbers now I'll be getting 0 minus 10 minus 10 here, and 8 minus 10, I'll be getting minus 2 here. Okay, now with this, let us find out the values in the implied cost values in the empty cells. Okay, so here it comes 0 minus 2 minus 2, so 3 minus 2, this will come positive, and here minus 10, and this also comes positive. For this, just find that out. Minus 9. This is also positive. Then this is 10. This is also positive. Then this is minus 1. This is also positive. So far, good. Mm, then what is happening here? 10 plus 3, 13. Oh. So 12 minus 13 is minus 1. Let it be. We are ready for going to the next iteration, that is decided. Then 4 plus 3, 7. So there is positive. Then 4 minus 2 is 2. This is also positive. 3 minus 2 is positive, and minus 6 here. This is also positive. So this still is having the potential of saving the transportation cost, that is of 1 rupee per unit transported. So this is a potential sale to be used, and we will be forming the quantity adjustment loop. So from here, if I go here, there is no point in going here because there is nothing in this column. So what I'll be doing, I'll be coming here. Okay, from here to here to here to here. Okay. So just to do that, this is again the iteration probably going west to correct the position of epsilon. Okay, so here what you will be doing, you will be marking plus, minus, plus, minus. So amongst the minus marked cell, you will be finding where the allocation is minimum, and that is the quantity to be allocated here. Okay, so amongst epsilon and 10, epsilon is minimum allocation. All right, this is going 7th iteration, right? So epsilon I will have to allocate here, and accordingly I'll be correcting the position. I will be correcting the locations. I'll be correcting the allocations. All right. So what you do? Here you allocate epsilon because you decided it soon. You decided it just now. Okay. Then 10 minus epsilon is 10. 70 plus epsilon is 70. Nothing is changing except the position of epsilon. Epsilon minus epsilon 0, and rest other allocations you will be putting at their places. Okay. So here was 60. Here will be 20, and here is 10, and here is 20. Okay. I need to put the transportation cost because I need them now. 3390 4 to 12 0 4 to 12 0, right? 12 8 19 0. Then 8 3 13 0. All right. So now you find out the row numbers and column numbers. Here it is 0, then 9, and because of this 9 I get 10 here and 4 here. 13 minus 9 4, and because of this 10 I get minus 10 here, then 8 minus 10 minus 2 here, and then because can I get any more number? Yes, here 12 minus 10 2 here, and this number I am yet to get. 4 minus 2 is 2. All right. Then for empty cells, I'll be finding the implied cost of transportation, right? And this time, it's not bad to hope that all the cost changes will come positive. That means there will be increase if I do the allocation in empty cell. Okay, 0 plus 2, 2. So this is positive. As long as this is lesser than this, this is positive. Then minus 2, this is positive. Then minus 10, this is positive. Then here it is coming out to be 0 positive, then 11 positive, then here minus 8 positive. All right, then here so far good. Then 6 positive, that's it. And then 2 positive, 3 minus 2 positive, and here minus 6 positive. All the cost changes have come positive. That means if you do allocation in any of this empty cell, even a small quantity, it is going to increase the transportation cost. So this is optimal. There is no potential sale where you can do the allocation for reducing the cost. So this is optimal schedule of allocation. Now let us find what is the total cost of transportation. Okay, 60 into 4 to 14, then 12 into epsilon 0. Okay, epsilon is 0, then 10 into 8 80. Then this is 17 to 9, 630. Then it is coming out to be 10 into 19, 190. Then 260 and 20 into 0, 0. Total comes out to be, this is 0, 15 and 11 and 15 plus 15, 30. 3 to 5, 6, 11 and 3, 14, 1400. This is the minimum cost of transportation, and for getting that, we were required to go through 8 iterations. Okay, the problem was because of our starting point. We started with reference to our initial allocation done by northwest corner rule. All right, and that has required us, because it was simple process to do the initial allocation. That time we have not considered about the cost while doing the initial allocation. All right, so because that time we have not considered the cost, we were required to do this much. We were required to go through 8 iterations to get us the minimum cost schedule. But if you remember that when we did the um, initial allocation by Vogel's approximation method, you remember that time it was that time what was the case? Mm, the total cost of transportation itself by after doing the initial allocation by Vogel's approximation method, I am bringing it for you. This was it. Okay, by doing the initial allocation by Vogel's approximation method, it came out to be 1400 itself. But that time we were not knowing whether this is optimal or not. But if we perform optimality test on this by modified distribution algorithm, you will get in just next iteration that the allocation done by you is optimal. That will take only one iteration. But here, because we started with northwest corner rule, we took 8 iterations, right? But anyway, we got the solution, but still you will be having doubt in mind whether this is correct or not. So there is a way to check whether you are correct or not. Okay. So what you have to do for that, just below this numbers, or just beside this number, you write the quantity which was there. All right. So here was 70, 60, then I think here it was how much? This is 10, 40, and this is 20. Right? Here it is 60, and then 10. Here it was 100, and it was 20. So if you do this sum of the product, this is called what we did here. What we did here is called as inner sum of the product. Inner sum of the product, because my terminology is not that mathematical. Inner sum of the product will be this 16 to 4 epsilon into 12. Hmm, a quantity multiplied by cost per unit of transportation. This all sums to 1400. Oh, this is outer sum of the product. I'll be doing it. Okay. So what it comes? 70 plus 120 plus 40 plus 80 plus 120 minus 20 plus 900 minus 200. Along with sign, you have to do the sum of the product. So this, what does this come? Okay. And so this is 190, 190 plus 42, 32, 30 plus 80, 310, 300, 430, 430 minus 20, 410, 410. Sorry, what I'm doing is 110 plus, where from it is coming? Just a minute. This should also come 1400. That's the point. All right. Um, so this is 700. 700 plus 100, 800. 800. 700 plus 800. 800 plus 200. 800 plus 200. Something I'm missing. Something. Let me check. Oh, 70 plus 120 plus 40 plus 80 plus 120 minus 20 plus 900 minus 200. Okay. Here I did some mistake. 70 into 0 basically is 0. Okay. So this is 0, big 0. Then 60 into 2, 120.4, and 40 into 100, that is 400. Then this is 80, that is fine. Then 60 into 2, 120. Then this is minus 20. Then this is 900 fine, and this is minus 200 fine. This should sum to 1400. And if that, then you are right. If not, then there is something to be worked upon. Okay, you have to check whether some mistake has occurred in this. Okay, so just find out 120 plus 80, 200 plus 400, 600 plus this together, 700 plus 700, 1400, and you were right. You got the solution. This is the transportation schedule of minimum cost, and you can do the transportation in 1400. More than taking more number of iteration, what is important is you got the solution and understood the process. Sometimes it may take this many number of iterations, but that all depends upon what method of initial allocation you used. If you used northwest corner rule method of initial allocation, then in the latter part of the process you will take more time, like we have taken here. Okay. And if you do the initial allocation by Vogel's approximation method, then you will be finishing might be in very less number of iteration, might be one or two, depend for such problems. Okay. So that is the transportation method we have seen. Now here we will see the things in nutshell what you have to do. But before we see the complete algorithm once for all, I will be discussing about if this problem was maximization problem. Okay, for example, I will be considering certain problem which is maximization. Okay, certain another problem. Okay. Mm, this problem you may take for solving by yourself. One, two, three, and four. This is the maximization problem. Figures in the matrix. Here I write figures in the matrix indicate are uh, profit per unit of transportation. All right. So these figures are saying 9, 3, 6, 14, 8, uh, 7, then 3, 7, 10, 12, 6, and 9. Okay, the requirement of destination. Okay, here you write D1, D2, D3, and these are say A, B, C, D. Okay, and these are say 30, 40, 20, and 30, 40, 20, and say 60. Okay, the total is coming out to be, I'm designing the problem here itself, 60, 60, 120 plus 30, 150, and say here it comes to be 50, then 50, then 75, and say it will be 700, 40. How much? This is coming up to 125, 40. Okay. So the total here is coming out to be, this is 150, 20, oh sorry, this 60, 60 and 30, 150, and this is 125 plus 40, 165. So what you will have to do in this case? In this case, to make the capacity equal to requirement, because the capacity is total of capacity is 150, so you will have to add a row in this matrix, and there you will be having one more capacity of the dummy plant, that will be of 15 for balancing. Okay, but that's not very important point. That thing you already know how to balance the problem. Okay, I'm talking something else. Now this is a maximization problem, and we have learned in this lecture, since previous few lectures we have been learning the minimization type of transportation problem. So what we will be doing, we'll be converting this problem to minimization first. Convert to minimization. Convert to minimization, right? So how do we convert that to minimization? It is simply ensuring that the allocations, if I do, I should get, there should be more probability of having allocation at higher values, because those values are profit now. So what we have to do is, uh, for converting it to minimization problem, and then we will be taking the action ahead. I'll be finding the maximum number. I'll be finding the maximum number in this matrix, and that is 14. And I'll be subtracting all the values from 14. The datum which was at the bottom, now I am taking it at the top. 14 is the datum for me, and now I'll be subtracting everything of the matrix from 14. So 14 minus 9 is 5, 14 minus 3 11, 14 minus 6 8, then 14 minus 14 0, then 6 here, then 7 here. I am subtracting all the values from 14. All right. Then 14 minus 3 11, 14 minus 7 7, 14 minus 10 4, then 2 here, then 8 here, and 5 here. This is equivalent minimization problem. So first of all, if you are given maximization problem, convert it to equivalent minimization and then do the balancing, right? After you convert it to this problem 30, 40, 20, 60, 50, 75, 40. Then the next step will be balancing. Balance the problem. Okay. And you will be solving then that balance problem by this process, and you will be getting the allocations. Then after you get the allocation, what you do, you post all these allocations in the original problem and get your final solution. All right. So time being, we are converting this problem to this and then solving, and after you get the solution, you post the allocations which you got in the original problem. So finally, to end, your zeroth step is convert problem to minimization. Okay, if it is maximization, that's why I am calling it zeroth step. If it is already minimization, then this is not needed. Then first step is to balance the problem. Balance the problem. I hope you understand making the capacity equal to requirement. Okay. Then the second step will be do initial allocation preferably by WAM. If you are explicitly asked to do it by specific method, do by that method. Okay. Then third step, find row numbers and column numbers. All right. Then fourth step is find implied cost. And fifth step is find cost change. Okay. And then sixth step is find maximum negative uh, cost change sale. Okay, this whole comes under test for optimality. If there is all the cells are positive, all the cells are having positive cost change, that means it is optimal solution. So this is test for optimality. I'll call it a test for optimality. Okay. Then seventh, form quantity adjustment loop. With reference to cell obtained in step 6. Then 8, modify quantities of allocation on corners of the loop, right? Retain other allocations, all right? Retain other allocations. Then, mm, then, actually, there was one step which I skipped, and you also know that that I'll be calling as 2.1. Count the number of allocations. Count the number of allocations and make them what? M plus n minus 1. M plus n minus 1. Okay? By if needed. Okay? Also, I won't be explaining much about it. You know what you have to do. So after 8th step, after 8th step, you will be going to this step number 2.1. You will be going to step number 2.1. After modification, there might be the danger that number of allocations have reduced. So you fill the gap by allocating epsilon and then find the row numbers, column numbers, then find implied cost, then cost change. That is the change between difference in the actual cost of transportation and implied cost of transportation. If all of them are positive, you are over. Your problem is over. Okay. Um, right. So exit point I have not written here. Cost change. Hmm. So if all the cost changes come positive, if all are positive, then exit. You got the optimal solution. So here we finish our lecture and thanks a lot. Okay, thank you. Yeah, before I close, there are one or two things which I think I should discuss. One thing might be it happens that transportation is not possible from certain plant to certain destination. For example, in this case, transportation is not possible from B to D2. So what you will be doing here you will be putting a dash to indicate that the transportation is not possible from B1 to D2. But in exact problem, dash is not a number. So to bring that dash to number category, you will be replacing the dash by infinity. And you will be solving the problem ahead. But suppose say this problem is of maximization type and the transportation is not possible from B to D2, then you will retain the dash, you will convert the problem first to minimization, and after you convert it to minimization, then you will replace the dash by infinity. This is one thing. Second thing, which I have discussed in my beginning lectures, that is this transportation problem is not just applicable to transportation situation. It can be applied to any situation if it is possible for you to frame the problem in this format. Like you will be having a matrix. In this matrix, there will be some figures which associate with something here and something here. There is some capacity like thing, there is requirement like thing. If you can frame your problem in this format, then the transportation algorithm can be applied to solve that problem. Okay, that's what I wanted to discuss. And one more, sometimes you will be given the purchase price, selling price, and somehow everything of that problem you finally have to bring to this format. And then once it comes to this format, you can solve that problem by transportation algorithm. So thank you now. Thanks a lot.